Hey everyone, welcome to another video on my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing a watercolor video. This is a little bit different than other ones I've done before, but I have been dabbling in watercolor. I just kind of picked it up this year, so I'm by no means an artist or an expert in this field. But I've been doing some bird studies because that's probably one of my favorite animals. And by request, my mom has been begging me to make her a bird in watercolor. So this is what I gave her this year for Mother's Day. So to begin, I've sped up the video so we can kind of get through it in a more uh, better time frame. It probably took me about a half an hour to do this. I probably spend as much time mixing paint as I do actually laying down the color. The color goes down pretty quickly, but you have to really consider every color and placement because, you know, one wrong move and watercolor can be messy to clean up and trying to get your paper dry and that sort of thing. So what I did is I looked on Google Images, is my best friend. I searched birds and found a bird that I liked. Normally I look for one that has a few different color variations so that I can create some interest in my painting and it's not just one solid color. I also try to look for something that has shadows. That way that I can see where the darks are and the lights are in the bird, and if I try to incorporate that into my watercolor, it gives a little bit more definition into the shape and the structure of the bird, so I find that that is helpful as well. One thing I've really practiced here is I'm working on is the eyes. Birds kind of all have the same eyes. They have a little beady eye, and then they always have some sort of little highlight at the top. So I try to leave the white of the paper for the highlight and make the eye pretty round, or depending on the angle of the bird, there'll be an almond shape, maybe pointed down or pointed up. It really depends on the angle of the bird, but I try to keep the same sort of idea there, and they're all pretty much the same. And then around the bird, here I'm adding like a darker at the top, and there's usually like a shadow or an inset where the eye socket comes in. So just after studying lots, and I've probably watercolored maybe 8 or 9 birds so far, just learning these characteristics and the forms of the bird just really helps to improve my skills, I guess. So here I'm just kind of, I've put on my first layer and now I'm just looking to add some more shadowing and depth, just kind of reinforcing the darker areas. You always want to work light to dark with watercolor, as pretty much any medium. The tricky thing with watercolor is if you want light, you need to leave white paper. So you really have to work around your highlights. You can't go back in and add them in like you would with acrylic. Acrylic you can come back, and then if you don't have enough white, you can add it later, whereas watercolor doesn't allow you to do that. So you really have to consider where your highlights are to begin with. That's why I try to work with a really light wash to start and then lay down my color. And once the color is in, then I try to add some more shadow and depth and texture. Sometimes I get a little overzealous and it's easy to overwork the painting, and so you'll see me dabbing the paper towel to lift some of the water there, as it's hard because when you get in the zone and you're working, you just want to keep going, and you got to wait for your painting to dry or everything just kind of becomes a muddy mud puddle. So that's sort of the thing I need to work on, I think. But anyways, this guy turned out pretty good. He's getting really nice form, and I really like the bright colors and the yellow. Yellow is my favorite color, so I really liked how he turned out. And then for him, he's standing in a grass bed with some little purple buds. So I was just adding that in as well. Adding sort of the impressionist view of this. Try not to do too much detail, especially in the ground area. You want the focus to be on the main part of the image, which here is the bird. So I usually don't put a lot of detail into the background there. With this guy too, so I cut this paper to fit a frame, and you can see here I'm just making sure how he looks. The bird's off to the side a little bit, but his head is basically in the center, and that's what I want. So here my bird is finished, and I just signed my name. And that's my watercolor. My mom was pretty excited about this, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a little bit different than other videos I've done before, and If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up or leave comments down below, and be sure to subscribe too, and you'll be notified when my next video is posted. Thanks so much, guys.